What have you done, Rylan?
Alright, so let's try to make a long story short. As of this morning, I only had a Nikon Z9, and I use it for income. So I did some small jobs on the side, and sometimes I even rented out my gear to people flying into Okinawa who didn't want to travel with all the gear, or they just didn't have, you know, the gear required. So I've been having issues with the Z9, where I was actually starting to doubt whether I was losing my photography abilities because all the images were turning out a little strange, like a little off. Focus seemed a little soft on everything. It was obviously not motion blur. It was something, I couldn't put my fingers on it. So today I ran into Brian, I asked for his help, and he looked at it and he agreed something was off. And I was shooting side by side with him, and just the brightness and everything was off on my Z9. So we brought it to the store, we showed them some sample pictures, and they agreed. Something's wrong with the body. When we got there was a Z8 on the shelf, which is quite rare here actually to have such a high-end camera on the shelf. So they had a Z8 there. We put my lens on the Z8 and it performed like I remember the Z9 performing when I got it new. We confirmed something's wrong with the Z9 again, ship it off to repair. It's going to take 2 months. Well, I have an event to shoot in less than 2 months, so I had to get something to replace it. Well, guess what? I bought the Z8 that was there. I needed something. I've only had the Z9, and I needed something because I rented out, then I have nothing to shoot with and stuff like that. Well, then I did something stupid. Someone ordered the ZF, and canceled the order. So I guess they canceled the order yesterday, and so this was on the shelf, which nowhere has these in stock. I actually have a ZF on order since November, I believe, and it has not arrived. So I bought 2 cameras today, and let's go ahead and open them both up and take a look. Brian, which one should I open first?
Z8.
Okay. That was pretty confident there, yeah? Alright, so we've done several box openings. A lot of it will be the same. I'm expecting, so we haven't even played with it yet, so this is kind of fun. So we have warranty cards and paperwork that I'll never read because it's in Japanese. And even if it was in English, I wouldn't read it. Charger, I don't use the Nikon chargers. I have my own that plugs into USB, so I don't even use this. So this will just stay in the box. USB strap, I never used the Nikon straps. The HDMI clamp, HDMI and some other cable, I forget, maybe the power cable clamp. And the fun stuff, the camera. Right away I can tell that it feels lighter than the Z9, which obviously it's going to be. But it's lighter, or feels lighter than the D850. I think it's supposed to, right, Brian? I guess there's no mirror in it. So basically this is the Z9 without the huge battery in it. I'm assuming that'll give us a little bit worse performance with heat and with like long recording, but honestly I don't do that too much, and when I do, it's not 8K or RAW or anything. All right, let me give you a hint with batteries. I'm sure you already know. First time you charge any battery from any device, charge it to 100%. Never charge it partially, because it could damage the battery for the whole life of the battery. So cell phone, camera, anything, charge the battery to 100%. I'm going to turn it on because there will be some charge from the factory, but it won't be a complete charge. There we go. It turns on.
How do you feel?
I like it actually. The grip feels better than the D850. It's like just the top part of the Z9. Feels better than the Z6, Z7. I prefer a little bit of weight because I usually shoot with bigger, heavier lenses, so it feels nice, but I still think strapping it to the 800 is gonna be really camera heavy. They do make the battery grip for it, which allows you to put 2 EL15 batteries. I'll probably eventually get it, but I can't justify the $300 or 40,000 yen for it. Huh, so it's 2 USB ports. That's different than the Z9. So one is labeled power delivery and the other one is labeled USB. So I'm assuming that's for tethering, so you can charge and tether at the same time, which, if that's true, that's actually a great improvement over the Z9. That'd be very nice. All right, let's see. HDMI, I'm assuming smaller body, maybe not the full HDMI. Oh, it is full HDMI? Yeah, take that, Canon. Does the R5?
No.
Oh, how about R5C?
The same.
R5C doesn't have Canon. But here we go. Let's talk about what Canon kicked Nikon's butt. The screen, right? It should be the same. Yeah. I don't like this setup, but I mean, I've used it sometimes on the Z9. But not nearly as helpful as they make it look in their videos. I would much rather have the R5 screen articulates. Is that the right word?
Right.
Yeah. But that being said, this is better than like the D850. And so for Nikon people, we'll like it. Sounds cheap, but it's not. It actually feels very good. So 2 functions on the front. The Z9 has 3. Interesting, they did the button on the side too. I'm assuming that's going to be for the autofocus changes, like on the D850. I want to put a lens on here, if you don't mind. Yeah, give me a Canon lens. That'll be perfect. Yeah, my 24-70 is in that one. Please. I can't afford. I can reach. Thank you. Ooh, it's dirty. I don't like that they put the felt on here. It catches dust so much. All right, let's.
Maybe that's the purpose.
So you can send it to repair? Do you want to quickly look? I hate doing this to my cameras, but for you guys, I'll do it. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like doing that. Never do this with the camera on. It just sucks up all the dust. There we go. Again, Nikon's screens are never the best, especially compared to Canon or even Sony, but they get the job done. And actually the Z9, and this is the same one, they're actually quite bright, so outside they perform pretty well. Based on preference, I actually like the viewfinder in this better than the other brands. I like it. It really feels good. Especially with this lens, it feels really balanced. I mean,
What's the video?
I don't know. What, you want me to record you?
Sure.
I am. I don't have a memory card in it. What are you talking about? What is this garbage? Oh. So, this is, what, Angelbird?
Yeah.
Wait.
I think it's mine.
For Nikon, they recommend the Delkin Cobalt because of the heat. So basically, the Cobalt performs the best, and I've experienced that as well. So, recording Brian up there. Hi, Brian. So, I guess out of the box is auto ISO. I'm shooting 30 frames a second, which will not sync up with Brian's stuff, but I'm happy with it. I don't even know what focus mode's on. I'm probably out of focus right now. Right. So genuinely, this is my first time actually shooting with this. Didn't even play with it in the store. So yeah, I like it a lot. I like how much smaller it is. I do traveling for work, and this will just throw in my bag much better than the Z9. The Z9 was tall enough that it kind of poked, I wouldn't say poked out of the bag, but it made my bag not flat. Especially the carry-on bag, which goes under the seat in front of you. So this should be absolutely perfect. It feels shorter than the D850. Yeah, you want to feel it, Brian? He said no. He said he wants me to open that one.
Yeah, open that one.
I have a feeling as soon as I open this, he's going to steal it. What do you think, Brian?
How do you know?
All right, let me push this stuff to the side. I've been looking forward to this for a while. You know, I did a video a while ago about the, about the Z50, about how excited I was. I'm even more excited for the ZF. The Z8, I thought it was cool. Not so excited because I have the Z9, but I've been looking forward to this. And my reasoning is that they put the same processor in here as they had in the Z8 and Z9. It has lower megapixel, so I'm assuming it's gonna be better low light performance, like the Z6 II. Z6 II performs better than the Z9 for low light, and we have the same processor. So now I can actually shoot birds or action or even ballet, which I'll be shooting soon. I would not trust the Z6 II's autofocus, but hopefully I can with this. So the purpose of this is a old style, a lot of controls outside the body with the new Z mount. And so let's take a look.
Sniff test?
It's I know you might not believe me, but the cameras smell different based on what quality they are. Like the Z9 smells very different than the Z30 coming out of the box. I don't know. Maybe it's cheap China factory versus good China factory. I don't know. All right, so the ZF has more features like being able to shoot monochrome or different stuff like that, which most pro cameras don't have. Like consumer-based features rather than professional features out of this. Battery still in the plastic. Even cheaper strap. Get yourself a Peak Design strap. Don't use one of these. So this kit comes with the 40 mil. So let's set that to the side. I heard it's really cheap. I want to try it out as a carried around travel lens. We'll see if it's worth keeping. All right. Significantly lighter already. Ready, Brian? Should I drop it?
Looks cool.
It feels like the old cameras. It really feels like it. Look at that. All right, let's talk about some of the trade-offs. I already know based on my research. They really had to cram a lot of stuff inside of here compared to the Z8 or Z9, and so there's trade-offs. Memory cards, you only have, I believe, what did I say? SD and micro SD? Yeah, so micro SD on such an expensive camera is actually quite surprising. That being said, I'm not personally offended. You'll use the big SD, UHS-2, as your primary, and the micro SD is the JPEG backup or slow video speed. So I don't have a problem with the micro SD. Just get yourself a good one. Don't buy a garbage one. Okay. Let's look at the ports. So we have USB on top, USB-C, which is good, assuming you can do in-body charging, which I absolutely love when I travel. Don't have to carry around chargers. Microphone, HDMI, and headphones. I almost guarantee it's a small HDMI, right? Yeah, it's the tiny HDMI. This is not a workhorse camera. This is a run around shoot camera. Sure, Brian and I might put it on a tripod and use it, but that's not the target that this is for, so that's plenty. They still have microphone and headphone jack, which is nice. Now let's look at this. So finally, Nikon. So Nikon's how you say it in Japanese. Nikon is how Americans say it. So Nikon finally came out with a screen like this. So Z50 could flip down. That was inconvenient if you're mounting it on a tripod or something like that. This overcomes that. So you can flip it around, go like this. I'll like this for traveling because when you're traveling, you can just go like this and it's actually kind of protected. It's very flat. I'm not sure how I like that. It feels a little bit cheaper, but it feels older. It feels more tactile, I would say. Oh, Brian's bringing me lenses. Either one's fine. How about the smaller one, the 14 to 30? So on the front, we have one function button, unlike Z8, which is 2, Z9 has 3. If you're shooting wildlife, I always suggest setting this up as single point. So if you're using subject detection, especially Nikon has a very hard time focusing from the background to the front, use a single point. That seems to kickstart it and it starts working. All right, let's go ahead and put on, actually I'm gonna put in the battery first. I wanna compare the weight. I don't necessarily like how this cover feels. Feels kind of, it's definitely not gonna keep any moisture out. There's, I don't know, there is rubber there. Maybe I'll stand corrected. I'm not gonna test it, to be honest. So, yeah, put that in. So here's something interesting. All of the Z6, Z7, even the, D850, all the, since what, D50 or something like that, the batteries went this way. They put it this way to get rid of that grip, to make it like the old style. It's funny, they feel very similar weight. It's probably because this one's smaller, so it kind of makes it feel heavier, but very similar weight, but this one's significantly smaller, especially if you're putting that in a bag. But this one feels taller without slamming it on the table. Not yet, at least. No, it's not taller. How about wider? If it is wider, it's just very slightly, but the thickness is what's... Yeah. This is like the Rylan and this is the Brian. Okay, let's go ahead and put a lens on it. For this one, I'll do the 14 to 30. All right, let's do this again. So on button, right here. Can't see anything. No battery at all. Swap the battery. There we go. It sees Brian's face. Just one second. Even though he's hiding behind a camera. Wow. I haven't used this thing in forever. An actual SD memory card.
Love Sony, huh?
They make good memory. Garbage cameras, but good. I'm joking. You're joking. We joke, but honestly, they all make good cameras. We all have our preferences. I'm assuming the audio's on auto level. Yep, auto level 150 with the f8. ISO auto, shooting 4K 30, full frame. If I remember correctly, let me go ahead and stop recording. It should go to crop mode. And I got feedback before. When I say crop, it sounds like crap. I'm not saying it's a crap sensor. I'm saying crop sensor. C-R-O-P. Yeah, so it's going to DX cropping when you do 4K 60, which honestly I'm okay with. If I'm gonna vlog, I'm not gonna shoot 60 frames a second. I'll put a filter on it to lower the light. If I'm gonna shoot birds, I actually like the crop because closer is almost always better. I ordered this because I knew that this grip was gonna bother me a little bit. I got this from Small Rig, and what it does, it gives you a little bit more grip. So let's try it out. Honestly, it's based on preference. I've seen people, I feel like when I grab a Sony camera, the grip is like almost missing. If you like that feel, you'll actually like it without the grip. I prefer something to grab onto, especially if you have large glass or something. So now it kind of sticks out. It just adds this little bit and gives you an Arca plate on the bottom. Now I bet the height will be almost the same. Still shorter. So let's look at the controls a little bit because that's the biggest difference here. And you'll have to bear with me, it's my first time doing this. So on the top here, we have shutter speed as an actual dial. The video photo switch button is kind of recessed, but it's right here. You just have to get the muscle memory and it'll be fine. You'll get used to it if you're going from like the Z6, Z7, Z8, Z9. All of those are at the same spot, so it's slightly different. We still have the autofocus button on the back for back button focusing. We have the controls over here. Manual controls for what kind of shooting you're gonna do. I usually just shoot manual, but they even have a full auto mode. So that'll be nice for the people who like to just grab a camera on vacation and just shoot, just leave it on auto. And then if you want to take a specific photo or be more creative, you can switch it over to one of the settings. That's interesting. The f-stop is written up here on this like LCD on the top. So this is the 40 mil. It's a special model that comes with the ZF. It's from what I read, it's the exact same as the other 40 mil, but it's just a little bit different color outside to kind of match the old style. So let's try it out. 40 mil f2 feels very light, cheap. You see this kind of plastic mount. That's how you know you're dealing with a cheap lens, is when you have the plastic mount. Now that's small, man. For a kid's birthday or just running around, that's pretty cool. It's funny, as soon as I put it on there, I can feel that it's a little bit slower autofocus. And I can actually slightly hear the autofocus, which on the 14 to 30, the 24 to 70, you can't hear. So, one more thing I just noticed. This video photo dial also has a black and white photo mode right on the dial. So you have video, photo, and black and white photo. So, yep, it makes the viewfinder black and white. I would expect out of 24 megapixel full frame that you're going to have extremely sharp images with great low light performance. And that's what I'm saying. I can really pick out all of Brian's hair on there and everything. We're going to work with both of these cameras with all the lenses we have and put them through, you know, the paces and see how they perform. We'll have separate videos to show you, sample footages, sample photos. I'm excited to try both of these out. Yeah, Brian, which one are you going to take home?
The ZF.
ZF? I called it. All right, I think we are done for today. We have unboxed them, turned them on, and that's about all we can do right now. It's dark outside, it's night. So give us a couple weeks, we're gonna try these out. Really put them through all different paces. Obviously we love wildlife. Maybe try a little bit of landscape, video, really find out what we like about them, don't like about them, and we'll report back. So yeah, I'll be playing with the Z8, Brian can play with the ZF, and then we can come back, compare, trade, and yeah, see what we like. So I appreciate you guys watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. We decided that we have to get both because that's the mature and smart thing to do. That's what all reasonable people would do.